This high-altitude satellite view shows the Ganges Delta as a sprawling network of winding waterways and dense green plains. Historical narratives often center on migrations from the west as the beginning of Bengali civilization. The archaeological record shows a different reality. Over 10,000 years ago, the Austral and Munda tribes arrived from the east, becoming the first humans to occupy the delta. This photograph shows modern indigenous women who are the living descendants of those early tribes. Anthropologists link these populations to the region's ancient hunter-gatherers, citing shared physical characteristics like shorter stature and darker skin. These early inhabitants established a spiritual life centered on the local environment. Their specific reverence for the elephant and the mouse provided the sacred templates that would later be absorbed into the Ganesha cult. While they did not leave behind stone monuments, their reliance on the land created a cultural framework that persisted through every subsequent era. Long before the arrival of outside empires, these communities laid the genetic, linguistic, and spiritual foundation of Bengali society. By 1600 BCE, the descendants of those nomadic tribes began to settle permanently along the fertile banks of the Ajay River. This transition is identified as the Pandu Culture, marking the region's entry into the Copper Age. They mastered the cultivation of rice, a shift that introduced large-scale agriculture to eastern India. Permanent villages emerged, featuring mud-rammed floors layered with burnt rice husks to protect the wattle and daub structures from the humid environment. Rice production allowed these communities to move beyond simple survival, generating the surplus needed to build an expanding economy. This document details the 1961 explorations at Pandu Rajar Dhibi, which provided the first physical evidence of this early civilization. Among the findings was this fragment of black and red pottery, which displays the sophisticated artisan techniques used by Pandu potters. Archaeologists also unearthed specialized tools fashioned from animal bones and deer antlers, such as these points and awls. These were found alongside copper bangles and rings, proving that the society had developed the skills to forge and work metal. This analysis suggests the Pandu culture maintained maritime contacts with distant shores, moving beyond the delta to establish early trade networks. Far from being isolated, the inhabitants of the Ajay Valley were active participants in a wider network of coastal exchange. The physical evidence proves that ancient Bengal possessed a complex and globally connected society long before the dawn of written history. By 300 BCE, early rice farming villages had consolidated into a single, centralized state, the Pundra kingdom. These ruins belong to Mahasthangarh, the earliest urban site in Bangladesh and the fortified capital of the Pundra region. The city was protected by massive brick ramparts, constructed to secure the immense agricultural output of the surrounding plains. This limestone slab features an inscription in Brahmi script recording a land grant, evidence of a highly organized and literate administration. To the south, Greek and Roman chroniclers recorded a nation called the Gangaradai, describing a militarized state that controlled the mouths of the Ganges. The Gangaradai maintained thousands of armored war elephants, a force so formidable it effectively discouraged the eastward expansion of Mediterranean armies. By the time of Alexander the Great, Bengal had transitioned from tribal settlements into a dominant military and economic presence in the ancient world. This diagram illustrates how the indigenous roots of the Austral tribes, the agricultural skills of Pandu, and the administration of Pundra merged into a single lineage. Later foreign influences did not replace this bedrock. They were absorbed into a culture that was already firmly established. The modern Bengali language and its rural agricultural traditions remain directly connected to these ancient prehistoric origins today. The modern Bengali identity represents a continuous lineage that began on the edge of this delta 10,000 years ago.